Right, a video on making your own homemade yogurt. A quick chat about what we're going to do and what we're going to use, and things we can use, and things that we can use up as well. It's relatively straightforward process. You can use any type of milk that you want, but you will get a better quality yogurt from the better quality of milk that you use. So I'm going to use some whole milk, preferably I just use whole milk, but I happen to have some semi-skimmed milk that I've had in the freezer that I've defrosted. So if you've got milk in the freezer and you want to use it up, it's making your own made yogurt. It's a good way of using that up. If you've got milk that's getting a little bit too close to its use by date, and you don't want to waste it, that's a perfect use for that milk as well. And what you can do is, if your milk's got a couple of days left on it and you don't really want to use it, or you're going to go out and buy some more milk, you can freeze milk that's got a couple of days left on it and then defrost that at a later date and use it up in the milk. So that's not a problem of using it up. Yeah, so the more fat that the milk's got in, the creamier the yogurt's going to be. Yeah, because obviously creaminess comes from the fat. So, but it doesn't matter, and you're also going to get slightly more yogurt for the higher fat content as well. But use what you want. I wouldn't use the really stuff that's got not particularly much fat in it. Fat's not a bad word in my house. So because I think it sort of takes nutrients out of it as well. So I wouldn't use it. We are going to use for the first time you make it. You do have to, unless you've got someone who's got some live yogurt already, you're going to have to buy some. And what I bought is that it's kefir, which is a type of yogurt drink, but it's most important that it's a live culture, and that's the only thing that matters. And if you're going to buy yogurts, make sure that it's just yogurt and it hasn't got things like flavourings in it, or chunks of fruit or things like that. You just want a plain bio yogurt that's alive, and then you can start making your own yogurt. You only have to buy it once, because I'll show you how to keep on making yogurt from the old yogurt, and you can also make some whey product as well, which you can use to make yogurt as well, and you keep it in the freezer and it's there for everyone to use it. So first process is bringing the milk up to the boil. This will kill any kind of bacteria and sterilize the milk, and then when you're making the yogurt, you're actually just going to be using the bacteria that's in the live yogurt rather than any potential bacteria that's in the yogurt already. So you're actually going to kill the bacteria that you don't want, which might be in the milk already, and you're going to make so, and then it's just going to be pure yogurt from that. When boiling milk or cream, don't boil it too fiercely or too fast, because you'll find that it burns the milk, the bottom of the pan and the sides of the pan. So the flame doesn't want to come up too far at the sides of the pan, otherwise it'll start burning things which you don't want, because you'll get it burns. You don't want burnt flavour in milk or yogurt. What I do is I always put a little bit of water in the bottom of the pan. As you can't see because there is some water in there. There you go. There you can see the water. It's a bit reflective. But I always put a little bit of water in the bottom of the pan, and this helps with the milk not sticking to the bottom of the pan. Or you can use a non-stick pan, but there's non-stick pan. There's all kinds of problems with them. Anyway, so I just use a stainless steel pan. This is also the pan we're going to make the yogurt in as well. So bring that up to the boil, and then we'll come back. And yes, so we'll bring the milk up to the boil, and then we'll come back. Yes, I think that's it. So we'll stop, and then I'll come back when I boil the milk. Because who wants to watch milk boil? Not me. Right, the milk is slowly coming up to the boil. As you can see, it's formed a little bit of skin on the top. I'm touching with fingers, I shouldn't do. But it's my yogurt. I can do what I want with it. So we'll just take that skin off. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that it'll just affect the end quality of the yogurt. So it's just best off removing it. And then we've got the whisk in, and just go around the bottom, make sure that nothing's sticking on the bottom. If it does feel like it's starting to catch on the bottom of the pan or on the sides of the pan, take it off the heat, pour the milk into a container, wash the pan out completely, get rid of all the bits that it might be sticking on, rinse it off, a little bit of water in, and then pour the milk back into. Well, taste the milk first, see if it hasn't. If the milk tastes a little bit burnt, it's ruined, and you'll have to find something else to do with it. I don't know. I'll think of something to do with burnt milk at some stage. But if it tastes burnt and you burn it, you need to throw it away. Or feed it to the pets; they'll be okay with it. Can you feed dogs and cats milk? I don't know, but someone will have it. Yeah. So go around the sides, see that it's not catching. Also, it shouldn't smell burnt as well. So that's where checking. So it's slowly coming up to boil. I can touch the sides of the pan, and it's getting hot, so it won't be much longer. So we'll bring it up to the boil, stirring it now and again, just nice and gently. And then it'll come up to the boil, and then we'll talk about the next process in making yogurt. The milk has now boiled. It didn't boil over because I kept an eye on it. So now what we just need to do is, there's a lot of froth, is that the right word? Yes, there's a lot of froth on the top of the milk, so we just need to remove that froth, which you can do with a spoon or a ladle, just to get rid of it. And then we're going to allow the milk to cool down to 45 degrees naturally. What you can do is you can put the pan in a bowl of cold water, and the cold water will start absorbing some of that heat and cool it down quicker. But that's what I'd do if I was in a rush, but I'm not in a rush, so it doesn't really matter. I will say that what's going to happen is it's going to cool from the outside to the inside, and from the bottom to the center, and from the top to the center. So if you take readings of the temperature of the camera's steaming up a bit. If you do take temperature readings from the milk, it's going to be at different temperatures in different parts of the pan. So before you take the temperature, just get your nice clean whisk. It needs to be clean because obviously if it's dirty, it's got bacteria on it. It's going to transfer that bacteria to the milk, so it needs to be clean every time you put it in. Same with the thermometer. So give it a whisk. There's going to be a bit more froth on top, but we'll keep removing that as we go down. So a nice clean thermometer. It is clean. Thermometer in. I'm going to say probably about, I'm going to say about 85. It'll be about, so it needs to come down to 45, and this is Celsius. I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit because I don't use Fahrenheit. There are conversion tables available. About 85, 86, coming to about 90. So it'll take a good half hour. Just keep now and again coming back to it and testing the temperature, and then we'll get down to 45 degrees. And then we're ready for the next step. The milk is now at 45 degrees, which is the right temperature, and it needs to be kept. Once we add the live yogurt into it, it needs to be kept at that temperature. It needs to be kept warm. There's different ways of doing this. During the winter, I will wrap it up in towels. The pan up in towels, and I will leave it on top of a radiator, which will keep it nice and warm, and it needs to be kept warm for about 10 or 12 hours. So that gives the time for the bacteria to grow and turn the milk into yogurt. You can transfer, once you've added the yogurt, you can transfer the milk into a thermos flask, which will keep it warm for a long time and be able to form yogurt that way. Just make sure if you're going to transfer the milk and the yogurt mixture into something else, it needs to be really clean and free of dirt or bacteria and those types of things. Hence why I'm going to just leave it in this pan, because I know this is clean and sterilised, as is the milk at the moment until we add the bacteria. You can, on a nice day in the summertime, you can wrap the pan in towels and leave it outside in the sunshine in direct sunlight, and that'll keep it warm for most of the day. Or the weather's a bit changeable today and I need to go out, so what I'm going to do is a bit of a faff, but I'm going to make like a water jacket for it. And what I've got here is 2 pans, one large pan and the smaller pan inside that pan, and then I'm going to put this pan inside that one. And there's water in these 2 pans, so it's creating like a water jacket that's going to keep it warm, and that is also at 45 degrees, so it will keep it all temperature, and then it will keep it all to temperature. Yes, that sounds right. And then I'm going to wrap it in towels, and then that'll keep it really warm for 10 or 12 hours. If the yogurt's just not quite ready after 10 or 12 hours, and the water starts to go cold, what you can do is take the milk out of these 2 pans, heat the water back up to 45 degrees, and then put that back in, wrap it all up again, and then that'll keep it warm for just that little bit longer. So you just need to keep an eye on it and just keep it warm. So here we go. This is the yogurt drink that we're going to use. We're going to pour it all in. I reckon you need about, per litre, I reckon you need about a tablespoon and a half, 2 tablespoons of yogurt per litre, I think. So I'm going to put all this in because I've got it. I'm not going to drink it because it's not my type of thing, a yogurty drink. So in, give it a good stir. Save the container, wash it out, we're going to need that. Give it a nice whisk so it's all evenly distributed throughout the milk. And then we'll just put, cling film is sterile, so we'll put a layer of cling film on top of that. So that'll keep everything okay. Nice and tight, and then put a lid on top of that and it just makes it a little bit more secure. And then we'll put the pan inside the 2 pans that are full of water, and that'll keep it nice and warm. Right, and then I'll show you how to wrap it in towels. So it's important to wrap it on the bottom as well as the sides and as the top. You'll find that a lot more heat gets lost through the bottom of the pan. I do like saying bottom. So that's that. So that's 2 layers. Move that way. It's going to get in the way. And then another layer there. And then another layer there. And then carefully lift the pan back on. Like that. Like that. And then wrap the towels over the top in reverse order. Like that. And then one big towel to go around the sides, just make it that bit secure. So that's because I'm going out and I've got things to do and I can't be bothered checking on it, and I won't be able to check on it because I'm going out. That's just me being overly ridiculous about keeping it warm. So leave it there and it'll sit for 10 to 12 hours. I'll check out I'll check in about 10 hours time, see if it's still warm and see how the yogurt's doing. If the yogurt's ready, then I'll take it off. If it's not just quite ready, it looks like it could do with a few more hours. It'll be getting dark it'll be quite late by that time, so I'll probably have to leave it off at night if it's not ready by 12 o'clock tonight. So just leave it nice and warm, and as you keep it too hot and it's going to kill the bacteria, too cold and the bacteria is not going to grow properly into it and make yogurt. So 45 degrees is spot on. Keep it nice and warm and everything should be good. Fingers crossed always. You know, things can go wrong. Nothing's ever guaranteed, but yeah, so we'll come back and we'll check in a few hours and see how things are going. Right, 9 hours later and it should be ready, so let's unwrap it. It still feels warm, so everything's okay. If it's not ready, I shall simply heat the water back up again to 45 degrees and then put the yogurt back in and leave it overnight. Go, just carefully. And there we go. Set yogurt. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. Now it's lumpy at the moment, so there's 2 things that you can do with that. You can put it in, get the whisk in it and give it a good beat, or like the hand blender or something like that, just to get it back to a decent consistency. What I do find is, I find it a bit, I like my yogurt to quite thick, so there is what we can do is we can thicken it up. Well, it's not thickening it up, it's removing some of the water from it. This is going to be tricky. I don't want to spill water everywhere. I'll just move that. And then those out of the way. Drop and pull out of the way. Pan of yogurt back. And then I've got a bucket. That's the ladle for there. I've got a bucket. You see that bucket? Yes, it's a bucket. And I've got a sieve stroke colander. And I've got two bits of linen, which I've just dropped on the floor. And we're going to strain the yogurt through the linen to remove some of the liquid from it, which is the whey. And we're going to keep the whey because we can use that for something else. This is a process that if you want to thicken up anything like yogurt or creme fraiche or cottage cheese, anything like that, this works perfectly. You can see, so a couple of layers of linen over a bucket with a colander, so it doesn't, otherwise the linen will just fall straight through, and then you just ladle the yogurt on top. Like that, and then I'm going to hang it up in the fridge overnight, and what will happen is all the excess whey, you can hear it there, you can hear the whey just pouring into the bucket below slowly, but if you leave it overnight, what it will do is it will chill the yogurt and the excess whey will come out of it, and then we'll be left with a much thicker yogurt, which I need a thicker yogurt anyway, but I'll show you tomorrow once it's been hung overnight, and you'll be amazed. Well, I was amazed anyway. Maybe you won't be amazed, maybe you know it already. Who knows? Put that in there. And then I won't show you hung up in the fridge full. I'll show it hung up in the fridge tomorrow morning when it's all been drained through. It's getting a bit late. And that's us done for tonight. I was actually thinking I better show you how form it up into a bag. So you get the four corners like that, so these two corners together and these two corners in that hand, and then you pull it all together and like that, and then that forms the bag, which will sit, I'll tie this bit here to the shelf in the fridge, and then it can just hang overnight like that. But anyway, so that's how you form the bag from the linen. Right, this is the yogurt that's been hung up in the fridge overnight. As you can see, it's formed, the linen cloth's formed a bag, and it's resting over the, it's slightly elevated over the bucket, and then all the liquids will collect in the bucket. I've tied it with a couple of bag ties. You can just see those there, so it just holds the linen securely, so it come up correct, so it's not going to fall over. It's a little bit awkward, is the tying up of it up in the fridge. You just need to be careful, because otherwise you'll end up with yogurt all over the fridge. So that's that. So what I'll do is I'll unclip it, and then I'll put it in a bowl, and then you'll be able to see what it looks like after it's been taken out of the linen. Right, as you can see, the yogurt is now out of the linen bag, the linen cloth, and it's formed a really, really, really thick, creamy yogurt. It's too thick, to be honest. To eat that would be ridiculous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of the whey back to it. I'm going to mix in some of the whey until it gets the consistency that I want. This is the whey, so that's all the water, stroke whey, that's come out of the yogurt. it's a really useful thing. I've tried it. I've made soda bread with that instead of buttermilk, and it works out really well. I've made pancakes. I've used it in instead of water, instead of in making bread. It's got loads of uses. Don't throw it away. And also, what we're going to do is, before I forget, the container that came, the live yogurt came in, this one, I saved it, and I'm going to save some of this whey, because that whey is what I'm going to use to make the next batch of yogurt. If you're not going to be making yogurt on a very regular basis, like every few days, I would suggest that you freeze the whey, because the bacteria in it will only live for so long. So I'm not making any more yogurt for a while. So that amount of whey will do 4 litres of milk quite easily. 4 litres, 8 pints of milk quite easily. So what I'll do is I'll freeze that, and I'll use it the next time, so I don't have to buy any more live yogurt. So once you bought the live yogurt, you can just carry on using it. Or the other alternative is to take a spoonful of your own live yogurt and add that to milk again, and that's how you carry on making your own yogurt once you've bought your live culture. Right, so I think that's it. Yeah, so we'll mix all this. Should have put that somewhere safe. I will say that when you're making things like yogurt, everything really needs to be really sterilely clean. Any kind of trace of bacteria on will start growing quite quickly and quite easily and things like this. So everything that you use needs to be clean and washed thoroughly to get rid of any other bacteria. Right, so mix it a little bit. Start off with, and then about that much to start off with. And there we go, lovely, thick and creamy. I'm going to say Greek style yogurt. But there you go, lots, really thick, really nice. If you want it thicker, add less whey. If you want it thinner, add more whey. And there you go. That's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I think that's it. It's like nothing you've ever. It's like nothing you've ever tasted. And the more you keep the culture and use it to make more yogurt, the better it tastes as well. Also, if you're using yogurt as an ingredient, when it was really thick and I strained all the whey out of it, then you can start making. You can use that in cheesecakes because it's really thick. So that works really well. I will get around to doing a recipe for all those type of things that I've talked about, using the whey and using the yogurt. But this video is just about making the yogurt and just having it in the fridge. It will keep in the fridge for, I'm going to say, 7 days in the fridge. In a clean airtight container, it'll keep in the fridge for 7 days. I'd probably even say that it'll keep for 10 days because it's a live thing, and as long as there's no other bacteria in there, it's gonna won't go off. And if it does, obviously you just have to get used to knowing through the taste and smell of things when things are off. But that will keep for at least 7 days, up to 10, I'd say. Yeah, and it's really nice, and it's really good quality yogurt for the price of milk. Obviously you don't get as much because you lose some of the whey when you're making yogurt, but it's really nice yogurt, and for a fraction of the price of really expensive yogurts that you can buy. And I think that's it. I'm sure that's it. Yes. And yeah, that's it. Until the next video.